know who was the guy in New York?
Oh, you mean the guy that doesn't play but won every 3 games?
Spike Lee?
Close enough.
Well, here's another interesting concept, guys. We're getting closer to the deadline. Zach, here's my thoughts. What about Ryan Anderson in Washington? Steve Collard mentioned that earlier today.
Interesting thought. Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I like that fit. I think that he would give them a dimension that they need. I think they need a little bit more three-point shooting around.
Scoring in general.
Yeah, they need more scoring, and he'd fit well next to Marc and Gortat. I mean, it worked when the two were in Orlando together for albeit a short period of time, but it still worked.
Still hate that they lost all those. That was I don't want to talk about it.
It's an interesting concept, an interesting dynamic behind it. You know, Ryan Anderson is one of those guys I knew that has to be traded. But I never would thought, like Paul said, I would never thought the Washington Wizards would be an option. But now I think more about it, it fits very well. Otto Porter would be the nice fifth option in offense.
This is the thing. What are they giving up?
I think I was reading Kelly Oubre and Jared Dudley.
Well, in that case, hello. I mean, it's Oubre has. I think he has potential, but I don't think it's going to be tapped for a little while longer. So I'd be willing to do that if I were them.
407-482-3776 is the number to check in, like Terry and just like John did, to check in with myself, Eric, and Paul in the studio tonight. We want to hear more from Magic fans about what's going on with this trade. And if you're not a Magic fan, if you're a fan of the Pistons, the fan of the Charlotte Hornets, who also made a deal today, Miami, Memphis, even the Utah Jazz, who have been shopping Trey Burke. Our good friend Tony Jones at the Salt Lake City Tribune has mentioned that the Jazz have been in trade talks with Trey Burke because, unfortunately, in that situation, it's been a bad situation. Burke wants out, kind of the same situation Enes Kanter had last year. The only difference is that Trey Burke has been very professional about it, and there have been suitors for trying to get Trey Burke. Guys, what do you think about Trey Burke?
I tell you,
he's bad.
He's a backup point guard. So for me. And I can mention this team with almost any player that we've been throwing around tonight. The Clippers. The Clippers could do really well if they could get a hold of Ryan Anderson. Now, I understand it would take more than Lance Stevenson to get Ryan Anderson, unless, it would take more. Yeah, I don't know. Jamal Crawford, maybe. I don't know what would – there'd have to be something worked out there. But could you imagine thrusting him in there with Blake or DeAndre? It's a great fit with either one. And then a guy like Trey Burke backing up Chris Paul. I don't really like the backup point guard situation in Los Angeles. So the Clippers are missing something. And I know they were my initial pick to come out of the West. I don't feel so good about it anymore, but if they make a move like that, it could help. It really could.
We're going to take a break. Our final break of the evening. When we get back, Mark, Paul, Zach, Eric, and myself, we're going to sit back and go over a few more trade rumors. Also take some of your calls as well, too. We want to hear from more Magic fans. You know, I know your team's been heartbroken about this deal, but we'll take more calls about it. We'll check back after the break. This is Full Court Press Radio, sponsored by SOFOELLC on Sports Talk Today, the team.
We don't want to hear from them.
Shirts Just For You is a unique custom graphic apparel store. Our motto is made for you, inspired by you. We offer a variety of designs ready for purchase, or you can create your own at no additional cost. With spring just around the corner, they would like to get you prepared, whether just for yourself or for your big event, like a family reunion, bachelor or bachelorette party, or even a work function. When you buy 4 shirts, get the 5th free using the code NBA FCP Radio. Buy 4, get more at checkout.
Are you looking to expand your reach and following in all platforms of media? Do you need a jump start in expanding your brand to all markets across the world? Sofo is here for you. Sofo means something for everyone, and they are here to help you expand your business through all platforms of media. Their experienced team is here for you to expand your brand and put you and your business in places that you would have never been before. Check them out at www.sofoellc.com or call 407-607-9862. Follow SOFOELLC on Instagram and Twitter.
I just bought my son sick basketball apparel from DHTK.com. DHTK.com has all the newest and coolest brands, such as Don't Hate the King, Repra, 23NT, and GAM30VER. DHTK.com vision is to integrate culture, fashion, and attitude that best represents the players and caters to us, the fans. Click on DHTK.com and subscribe to their basketball updates for an automatic 10% off. If you're a basketball fan, you must follow their social media accounts. Visit DHTK.com for all the details. DHTK.com. Don't hate the king.
Are you looking for a fun experience on the water with your family? Bring them to the Orlando Water Sports Complex, located off Highway 528 near OIA. The Orlando Water Sports Complex provides an experience you won't soon forget, featuring cable wakeboarding, as well as the Super Air Nautique G23, the world's best wakeboarding and wake surfing boat for guests to enjoy. For more info, visit actionparks.com. That's AKTIONPARKS.com. And tell them Full Court Press sent you.
We are back for Full Court Press Radio, sponsored by SOFOELC on Sports Talk Today. The team. I'm your host, Dane Thompson, checking in tonight with Paul Myers, Zach Oliver, Eric Lopez, Marc Johnson. Will be back on in a few minutes. And also, we have a couple more minutes to take some of your calls for our phone number here at the studio. Paul, what's the number again?
Why are you asking me? You got the phone right in front of you.
Eric, what's the phone number to call in?
407-482-3776.
Call and checklist. I got to make sure Paul's on point, throughout the night. So, guys, we're getting into the second half of the season that starts on Thursday. Let's get one last check on guys or teams that you think should make a move. Paul, if you're one team that you think can make a move or should make a move to get themselves in that championship hunt, who should do it?
It's got to be the Clippers. They got to make something. It's tough to say exactly what they should do or can do. A guy like Rudy Gay, a guy like Ryan Anderson, even something small like Trey Burke would help. But I feel like they got to make something, some kind of tweak, get a little bit more help in there. They seem to be committed to Austin Rivers, which we know why. So, I would say the Clippers.
We got a caller online. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Thomas. Thomas calling from Orlando.
Hey, Thomas.
Hey, Thomas. How's it going, sir?
What's going on, fellas? Just like to say, I like to trade for the Magic. I think that they really needed scoring. Someone that can, when the crunch time, get a ball to him, run some plays for him, give him to get a bucket. They didn't have that guy. Now they have it with Jennings. And what it allows them to do also is kind of like what the Sixers did back when they had AI. They have a couple bigger point guards, Peyton and Oladipo, that can run them at the point, too. You can run Jennings with either one of those guys and create mismatches on offense, and then put him on the weaker of the the two or the one on defense. And have to play passing range, you know what I'm saying? And then as far as what trades out there, the Cavs, don't like the Cavs like that, but the Cavs to try and work their hands on to get Ryan Anderson, man. They need a shooter with LeBron. They don't have any shooters. If I was them, I'll give up Love and whatever to go ahead and get Ryan Anderson, man. A guy who's well content with his shooting, who won't cry about getting the ball, who won't do anything else. You can still run your Miles guys, you can still run your Tristan Thompson, but you put him out there with Ryan Anderson, now you have spacing and somebody who can shoot, who's content with doing that job.
Wow.
I'm gonna need a little more than Ryan Anderson, but I get your drift. But I need a little more than Ryan Anderson.
I'm just thinking about this from a Pelicans perspective.
But they don't even use Love right. You know what I'm saying?
No,
that's what I'm saying. They don't even use him. So if you're gonna have a guy like Love and not use him as he should be used, then why not? They need a shooter. So that's what they need. If they stay with Love, they will win a championship.
Well, Thomas,
they get some shooters around, and they might.
I don't know that they will anyway, the way it's going.
Well, Thomas, thanks again for the call, but I got one thing to say about that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Anthony Davis and Kevin Love on the same front line?
Hey, it might work out for them. Who knows? It might work out for them. I don't know. They're crowded with the point guard down there in New Orleans. I don't know. They have a little backslide this year. I don't know why they aren't doing well. Maybe they don't like the Gentry system. I don't know. But I just know that they didn't use Ryan Anderson, and the Cavs aren't using Love right. So flip-flop him, man, see what happens. But he would be a good fit. He would be a good fit in Washington because it gives him spacing and somebody who can clear the floor out for Wall when he gives his give him ghost. You know what I mean?
Agree 100% there.
Thanks, Thomas, again for your call.
No problem. Yeah.
The biggest problem with the Pelicans is Alvin Gentry just isn't a good coach.
That's a whole 2-hour show by itself right there, too, though.
I don't know that I fully agree.
I think Gentry is one of those guys that can coach decently, but he's not going to get you anything more than 43 and 39. Yeah, I just don't see it.
I'm with you there. Yeah, I don't think he's a bad coach. I don't think he's a good coach. I think he's somewhere in between.
He has that Scott Skiles effect to me.
Scott Skiles has actually taken teams to the playoffs.
Gentry has too. I think
he took the Suns right after D'Antoni left.
Hey, he took a team to the playoffs.
He took D'Antoni's bunch to the playoffs.
Well,
Roy Williams won a national championship in basketball with Matt Doherty's players. John Gruden won the Super Bowl with Tony Dungy's players. Sorry,
Bucks.
You know, I mean, it's happened. I mean, if we have the talent on your team, the fact that you have to coach that team with the talent.
Right. It still comes down to X's and O's.
I mean, for me, when Orlando hired Skiles back in, last season or probably last year, I was like, I understand the hiring, defensive coach, young team. I get it. It's not that,
you weren't blown away.
I wasn't blown away. It wasn't like Tom Thibodeau. It wasn't Scott Brooks. It wasn't one of those guys. Mark Jackson.
The Magic went and got the best guy that they could.
I don't
disagree.
I don't disagree.
And a lot of people like to complain about Skiles. Skiles has done a good job.
Oh, I'm not discounting the fact that.
I'm not saying that you are.
No, I'm saying he's doing a great job. I just think that when it comes to like that name hire,
he's not a sexy name.
He's not. Eric, what you got to say? Because you're pouncing over there.
No, I agree with Zach. I think Scott Skiles has done a good job. Let's remember, this team won 25 games last year.
Oh, yeah. And you want to get, like I said, Skiles has done a great job what he's been given. This is not his team.
No,
we all know
what he would have wanted.
No,
correct.
This is not the roster. I really think moving Tobias Harris, because I think to me internally, now this is not. I'm not speaking this because I know this. I'm just thinking because of past history.
In Milwaukee.
You
can say it.
You look at Harris and you look at the thing with him and Skiles.
Stop pushing the stupid narrative the Milwaukee Bucks bloggers keep wanting to push.
What do you mean?
It wasn't an issue.
I don't think it was the proper fit in the first place, though.
I don't think it was the proper fit. I mean, it didn't work the last time around. It just shocked me that he signed the deal to come back, knowing that Skiles was the head coach.
And then didn't play well. I mean, it just kind of coincided. It was kind of, I mean, perhaps it's a strange coincidence, but
it's a really strange coincidence because Harris
lined up perfectly, though.
Harris was playing his best basketball before Skiles got here. He wasn't playing it when he was playing well in Milwaukee. He got shipped out. Comes here, plays amazingly well. You're talking about a guy that you thought was going to be a franchise building block the 2 years before Skiles got here. Skiles gets here, Harris backslides completely. I'm not saying it's true, but you got to throw a little bit out there to say that.
Man, if it starts quacking like a duck.
And it walks like a duck and it says Aflac, then it's a duck.
Right.
It's very simple.
It's just more so a fit in the style of offense that Skiles.
Now, if Tobias Harris goes to Detroit and just starts scoring 20 points a game.
Here's the thing.
But
I think he's
that's
a
not
good fit for Stan Van Gundy.
That's not fair because, exactly.
So, I mean, I understand Zach's point, but I do agree with Dan. I think there's probably more to it than just the system because Tobias, I mean, he played so much better last year. So,
and at the same time, Tobias still was giving them good minutes at times this season.
Guys, we're going to check out for tonight, but before we go, let's let everybody say how to get in contact with them. We're going to start with Eric Lopez. Eric, how does everybody get in contact with you on social media?
Eric Lopez Elo on Twitter. That's where the best place to find me on Twitter.
And he is the voice of UCF softball.
Thanks for the plug.
Go Knights.
Zach?
Find me on Twitter at Zach Oliver NBA. And everywhere else, I'm everywhere these days.
Mark.
There you go.
Mark?
Yeah, I mean, for Breakdown Sport at Twitter and Breakdown Sport on Instagram, hit me.
Exactly. Paul?
More often than not, you'll catch me on the FCP Facebook page, but you can also drop me a line on Twitter at Paul Myers, and that's MYERS FCP, Full Court Press. Paul Myers FCP.
The way to get in contact with myself is through Facebook, instead through the Full Court Press page on Facebook. On Twitter, it'll be at NBADT29. Also hit up the show's page, which is at NBA FCP Radio. And also, if you're on Cyberdust, it's plus NBA FCP Radio on Cyberdust. For those who know about it, it's Mark Cuban's app. Check it out. It's a great service. We want to thank our friends, Steve Kyler, our friend callers, John, Thomas, and our good friend,
Terry.
Thank you. Slipped my mind. Thanks to Zach Oliver, Eric Lopez, Paul, and Mark. We'll be right back next Tuesday night here on Full Court Press Radio, sponsored by SOFOELC on Sports Talk 1080 Team. Catch you guys next Tuesday.
Lock us in. Sports Talk 1080, the team. Orlando. Powered by SportsTalkFlorida.com.